What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today I'm really excited to talk about a movie that just came out on VOD and had a limited theatrical release. I'm going to do a spoiler-free review of Come to Daddy. I realized that was a little weird. Anyway, so Come to Daddy is a movie about a 35-year-old son who is estranged from his father and reuniting with him to discover each other. That's about all you're ever going to get out of me, other than the fact that there's obviously something more afoot. If you haven't seen this movie or know anything about it at all, let's just say it's a dark horror comedy thriller. It's being labeled as thus, and I think that's pretty apropos. But I am really excited about this movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. This is a movie that is directed by Ant Timpson, who, if you're not familiar with him, this is his first directorial debut, by the way, but he's actually been a producer in the horror scene for a long time. He's been doing movies like Turbo Kid. He's working on Turbo Kid 2. He did ABCs of Death 1 through 2.5, Deathgasm, Field Guide to Evil, another anthology film. So he's been very, very supportive of the horror community. This story is actually based off a personal experience that he had. I won't divulge what that is because that would end up spoiling it. Let's just say that it's a pretty damn good idea, and I love that idea from the get. This movie is also written by Toby Harvard, who, if you are not familiar, is the guy who actually helped write The Greasy Strangler, which is holy shit crazy. And he also did G is for Grandpa in ABCs of Death 2. But if you've seen the movie The Greasy Strangler, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. Yes, it is. But it's a very different movie in its own self, and it is a very funny, dark comedy. Elijah Wood, who plays the son. You got Stephen McHattie, who plays the father. And man, let me just tell you something. Stephen McHattie is a national fucking treasure to Canada. I love him. Pontypool is just fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite performances by him. He's done many other wonderful performances, and there is no missing out on his performances here. Downright amazing in this film as well. Now, I don't want to take away from Elijah Wood at all. His performance in this movie is awesome. And to be honest, I'm just a huge McHattie fan, so that's what sold me on the movie to begin with. But Elijah pulled it through and made it even better. Some of the dialogue in this movie is just some of the greatest shit ever. Plus, some of the scenarios that this movie goes that you would never expect make it so much better. Now, my girlfriend said that it was a little slow in the start, so I could see why some people might feel that way. But Stephen McHattie really pulls that together with Elijah Wood. I think they worked really well together. I don't think it's that slow. I enjoyed every little nuanced thing that happened in the very beginning and making you wonder what the fuck is happening because you feel like something is going on that they're not telling you. And boy, will they tell you. It's so hard for me to talk about this movie, guys, because I don't want to spoil it for you. And I don't want to say too much. But I will say at times it's gory. At times it's raunchy. At times it's fucking hilarious. And if you have a dark sense of humor, I think you owe it to yourself to fucking watch this movie. It's an independent movie that I think deserves the attention, not necessarily horror in the outright horror sense, but I think it's incredibly appealing to people who watch horror film, by people who support that. And I think we as a horror community should support that as well. It is definitely fucking got the dark humor down, man. And if you're a horror fan that has ever delighted in any kind of dark fucking gory humor, I think you're going to enjoy this. Now, I don't want to just compare it to other movies, but because I can't really explain to you anything about the story without it ruining it, there is a sort of a twist in it that, man, I loved. I was not expecting it to go where it did. And that's pretty much when the movie just takes off. It's not the end of the movie either, which is great. It's almost like two different movies. I got similar vibes in this movie as far as the dark humor goes from a movie called Low Life, director Ryan Prowse. If you've seen this movie, you should definitely watch that as well. And if you've seen Low Life and you like that movie, you should definitely see this movie. Now, I'm not saying that these are similar in any regard. They're very different stories, but the humor, the stuff that bonds me to these movies, both of these movies, is very similar. Come to Daddy, to me, was a really great film. I would definitely own this movie. I am struggling with whether or not I give this movie an 8.5 or even a 9 because I enjoyed it that much. It's exhilarating to watch this kind of thing, to have that kind of sort of dark humor to laugh at is just something rare, and I think you should check it out. Don't watch the trailer at all. Not that it ruins it, just trust me on this. Now, like I said, I don't want you guys to think going into this movie, this is not exactly a horror movie, but it is incredibly appealing to those who like horror films because it kind of rides that line of a lot of different genres. Trust me on that. I think you should be good. And I would not be surprised if this stays on the top 10 for this year. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you've never followed before and you like horror movies or horror related movies that you would like, please hit the like and subscribe button and comment down below because it helps me reach people like yourself who enjoy the same shit. So other than that, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And as always, long live the void.